So we are less than 3 weeks away from cruising restarting here in the United States, and we still have questions and no answers. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. So, cruising gonna start less than 3 weeks away. It's gonna start in Florida on the 26th of this month with Celebrity Cruise Lines, and they are fully vaccinated cruises. We have cruising fixing to start here in Texas on July 3rd on the Carnival Vista. Again, fully vaccinated cruises. But Texas has now joined Florida in saying that asking for your vaccination status is against the law. So, what's the plan here? How are the cruise lines going to make this happen? So how are the cruise lines going to make this happen? They still haven't answered that question. So Celebrity Cruise Lines has put out some protocols for their upcoming cruise. One of the things that they have said is they said they guarantee they are sailing at 95% vaccinated. Now that last 5% is for children that are 16 or under for the month of July and 12 and under for the after August the 1st because they are not eligible to get the vaccine. So that's where that little extra percentage is coming from. It's going to be for the kids. But everybody else on the ship will be vaccinated. They guarantee it, according to Celebrity Cruise Lines. But when asked the question, well, how are you going to verify status? Their response so far has been, we got it covered. We guarantee it. So for those of us that want to book fully vaccinated cruises, that is not exactly what I would consider, the information I want to hear. I want to know how. What am I going to have to do to show my vaccine status? What does everybody else have to do? How are we all going to know that everybody on the ship is vaccinated if you can't ask? And now, like I said, they've passed that law in Texas, and now Carnival Cruise Lines, who stated that their July cruises are going to be fully vaccinated, now have the same problem that cruise lines have in Florida. Now, I do have a theory on this, and it's based kind of on what Celebrity Cruise Lines has said, because they've also joined Royal Caribbean in saying that if you are unvaccinated when you get to the cruise port and you have to take the test, that they're going to charge you for the test. You're going to have extra fees, extra protocols that the vaccinated won't have. But if it's a fully vaccinated cruise and children who cannot get the vaccine will not be charged for a test, why is that protocol even necessary? That's my question. So, I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know if this is even possible under the law, but here's my theory. So I go to the cruise port. Now, they cannot ask me my vaccination status. Instead, they're going to say, well, what we have to do is give you this COVID test. We're going to charge you for this COVID test. And they have said the amount is still being determined, so the number I'm about to give is purely made up. But they said you're going to take this COVID test, and it's going to cost you $200. Well, I don't want to pay $200 because I'm fully vaccinated, so I pull out my vaccine card and say, but I don't need to take the test. I'm fully vaccinated. Here's my card. And they say, oh, okay, and let me on the ship. Now, is that a violation of the law? They did not ask me for my vaccine status. They said I would have to take a test. So did this violate the law? They didn't ask me my vaccine status. They said there could be an extra charge that I didn't want to pay, so I produced my vaccine card and showed it to them. If you're a legal expert out there, you're going to have to let me know. Is that even possible? Is that what they're thinking? Why would they mention an additional cost for the unvaccinated if the cruise is fully vaccinated? But whichever way the cruise lines are going to go with this, they need to start providing us answers. As passengers, as those that want to book cruises, we need to know what's going on. We need to know the protocols. We need to know the procedures. We need to know how this is going to be handled, because the fully vaccinated that want to go on fully vaccinated only cruises need answers. those that are not going to get the vaccine, do not want to get the vaccine, or cannot get the vaccine, need to know the protocols for the cruises that they're going to go on. Everybody just needs to know. And right now, the cruise lines are being kind of hush-hush about it. I don't know if that's because they haven't figured it out yet, they're still working on it, or if they've got some workaround that they're just, keeping to themselves to the last minute so it can't get blocked. I don't know. Now, me personally, I'm not real happy about this law here in Texas as far as it affects the cruise ships, because I don't have a problem with showing my vaccine card to get on the ship. You've always had to fill out the medical questionnaire to cruise anyway. Is it really that much different if they have the question on there, are you fully vaccinated? They already ask you stuff about your medical. Are you sick? Do you have any health issues? Anything like that? So is it really that much more to simply ask about a vaccination status? They've already asked medical questions in the past. If you've ever cruised before, you've answered them in the past. It's never been a privacy issue before now. And I think if Florida and Texas are going to have these laws, they probably should have put in an exception, at least for the cruise lines. If you're going to sue the federal government and the CDC, like Texas and Florida have done, to resume cruising, and part of your argument is economics, the money that the cruise lines bring to the state, the jobs that it creates, all the suppliers that supply the cruise ships for them to go out and sail, the money that the ports are losing from parking, the hotels, the restaurants. And so your lawsuit is that we've got to get this restarted because the states are suffering. And so the CDC approves sailing again. Yes, it's not ideal. Yes, not every condition that the CDC has put out is great, but sailing can resume. It can resume in less than 3 weeks. It just has to be vaccinated right away to get started right away while they conduct test sailings, get past that part, and then you can have unvaccinated sailings as well. So when you get what you want, at least partly what you want, then you create a law to block it? Is this just political grandstanding? Or what is this? Why sue for one thing, and when then you get it, you block it? It baffles my mind. It honestly baffles my mind. I can't speak for every job, I can't speak for every business, and I can't speak for every state, but I can speak for mine. So I do work for a big corporation, and they do not ask us our vaccine status. They have never asked us that. However, they have said that if you show your vaccine card after you receive your shot, you can get paid for those hours when you went and got the actual shots. So I had to get 2 shots. I got paid 4 hours each time I went to get the shot, and all I had to do was show my vaccine card when it was done as proof that that's actually where I was. But they've never actually asked me for it, so it's more of a volunteer thing. Personally, have no problem with this. I got the shots, I volunteered it, I got paid the time, and that's kind of how I feel it should be for the cruise lines as well. They want us to be vaccinated. I'm willing to volunteer to show it. Here it is. I get on the ship. They're 95% vaccinated. We're sailing in 3 weeks. Makes sense to me. I know that won't make sense to everybody. I know there are people who do not believe in the vaccine. I know there are people that want to cruise without a vaccine. And eventually, we all will get to cruise again. This is just for the cruises that are starting here in a couple of weeks. Carnival said that this vaccine requirement right now is only for the month of July. And it's just to get them started again. But that's kind of my little rant for the day here on vaccines, government laws, and let's get cruising restarted. That's really all I want, is cruising to restart and for all of us to get back out there. And one other point I just want to go over real quickly. I keep getting this question in the comments. I've seen it more than once. And that is, if you've had COVID, now you have the antibodies and an immunity to it, what about those people? Now, I cannot speak to the scientific validity of this because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a professor. But what I can say is right now, today, The CDC recognizes two categories, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Cruise lines are recognizing the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. At least for today, there is no middle ground on this. It's one or the other. Will that change? I don't know. I think by the time they get around to that, it won't matter which one you are, vaccinated or unvaccinated. I think cruises will eventually get back to normal and it won't matter. But right now, as it reads, if you've had COVID and you have immunity and the antibodies built up, but you have not had the vaccine, you are still considered unvaccinated and cannot sail on a vaccinated only cruise because you won't have the proof of vaccination. Like I said, that's how it reads. Okay, I didn't make the rules. I don't make the rules, but I did want to answer that question at least. All right, so sometime today, the lawsuit between Texas, Florida, and the CDC is supposed to go back before the judge. Before the judge already was sent to mediation. Mediation failed, so it is now scheduled to go back in front of the judge today. I honestly don't know what is going to come out of this. I do not expect the judge to go, okay, you guys are right, CDC is wrong, conditional sale order is gone. If that happens, I will be utterly, utterly surprised. I expect more of a delay, it to get put off, or for him just to not really decide anything. As soon as we get any information back from that, of course, we'll let you guys know about it. And I said we could be totally surprised. Maybe he will rule one way or the other, but I don't expect to see that. And we'll also be keeping our eye out for any official protocols to come out of the cruise lines. If we get any new information that tells us how this is going to restart, what's going to be involved, we'll definitely let you know as soon as we hear anything. So I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, let's give it a thumbs up. Have yourself a great day. And of course, we will see you out on the high seas.